Okay, YouTube, what is going on? This is the video I've been waiting for. This is the video that I've been excited to make. If you look behind me, there are 3 bad ladies I'm about to tell you guys about. So anyway, this is the video that I've been waiting for. I've been excited to make this for you. Most of you have been watching my channel because of the bus, the toy hauling bus. If this is your first time here, go back and check the videos out about that. But I've been waiting to tell you guys about why a bus, what inspired the bus, and that is my love for motorcycles. You have to excuse the sun wash out. Let me try to take care of that. So it is my love of motorcycles and my desire to go on trips with them, and my love of track days and those kinds of things that inspired the bus. So in this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the bikes. A little bit of details on each one of them. I'm not going to get into like full-blown every mod listed probably. Maybe I'll put something together and put it in the description, but we'll tell you a little bit about the bikes and a little bit about my riding career. So let's get into it. Here we go. And I am sorry about the sun washout, but this is pretty much the only space I have available right now to video all 3 bikes. And also, I apologize for my woolly mammoth look, but in New Jersey, due to COVID-19, we still don't have barbershops open, and I'm able to get a haircut here and there through some sneaky channels, but I haven't been able to lately. So first, let's start with the yellow and black bike. This is my street bike, my daily rider, if you will. This is a 2005 Gsxr 1000. I bought it in 2006, late 2006, with 4,000 miles on it, bone stock, completely virgin. Right now it is currently sitting at just under 41,000 miles, and now, not everything is original, but no issues. Transmission never been opened up, motor never been opened up, basic maintenance, valves have been in spec every time I checked them, although I'm anticipating different this off season. Speaking of motorcycles, when you live in the woods, you get dirt bikes riding down your street. I guess if you live in the city, you get dirt bikes riding down your street too. But anyway, back to the bikes. Everything on it I have done myself. It has only been in the hands of another mechanic for recalls and things. Yeah, honestly, fork seals. I didn't do the fork seals myself. Other than that, recalls and tires. Up until recently, I haven't been able to mount my own tires. Anything that's powder coated on it, I powder coated. Anything that's been done to it, I've done to it. So I guess a quick rundown of what's done to it. First thing you'll notice, those are aftermarket fairings. I still have the stock fairings, but after 38,000 miles, I think is when I swapped them over. Just last season, right? Last season or the season before that. I think it was like 38,000 miles, somewhere in there, because I didn't really ride much last season, other than 2 trips to the tail of the dragon. So anyway, let me keep it moving. Those are aftermarket fairings that came from Monster Fairings. I'll probably do a full video review on those. Long story short, they look great. The fitment was pretty good, but their hold up, like their longevity, how they look after just 2 years, I'm kind of disappointed in. Price was just over $700, or I should say just under $800 is more likely and more realistic, and they don't hold up that well from normal riding. That's a chip there. These are some chips here. They painted the fairing the wrong color the first time, and now you can see the yellow coming through. But we're not going to get into a full review on them. We'll hit that later. So appearance-wise, all signals and lenses tinted, aftermarket fairings, tinted visor, powder-coated rear sets, powder-coated pylon pegs, seat cowl, aftermarket levers, they're Pazzo shorties. These are one of the first things I ever did to the bike, so you can see the knob used to be red, and that's pretty faded now. Driven keyless gas cap, couple of stickers, not really any. Actually, I think the only sticker left, all the safety stickers, stuff like that, I think the only sticker left, that 13 is a tribute sticker to a friend of mine who passed away in a motorcycle accident. He was actually an extremely good friend of my wife's. We'll probably talk about that in a minute. I'm trying to think appearance-wise, what else is done besides some dirty wheels. A bunch of little bits are powder-coated, like, powder-coated the brake reservoir bracket and this little piece here. HID headlights. The gauge cluster has been changed to white LED. Oh, speaking of HIDs, listen to that thing scream. That needs to be replaced with an LED real soon. These HIDs are old. But the gauge cluster lights have been replaced with white LED lights. Man, I got the RAM mount for the phone, obviously, and a charging cord hooked up. Black bolt kit, that is a Gsxr pipe, but if you have a Gsxr pipe, you can reach out to Gsxr and you can have your pipes rebuilt, or you can purchase every part of the pipe separately and rebuild it yourself. It is essentially a brand new pipe minus the mid pipe. So literally every piece on this pipe was recently rebuilt as last season, except for that bracket and that cover right there. Everything else, even the rivet bands, completely rebuilt last season by myself and cut about, I want to say there's 9 inches, if I remember correctly, removed. And then obviously I didn't put the badge back on, and I really like the carbon fiber look when it's clean. I may wait until the pipe starts to discolor a little bit before I put the badge back on. Man, speaking of dirty wheels, you can tell I was powder coating in my garage with the cover off of that. I'm ashamed of myself for not cleaning them before the video. So she's no beauty queen. I mean, even the new fairings after 2 seasons aren't holding up that well. It's got a dent from falling over in the garage in the past right there. Some scratches on it, on the swing arm from falling over in the garage. Ignore the ugly mounted dealer mode switch. But she's no beauty queen. I'd say she's a solid, I don't know, 15 footer. she looks great from right here. But with 40,000 miles on her, she still runs, man. She gets up. So as far as what's done to her, performance-wise, there's really not that much. But she put down good numbers on the dyno. She moves pretty well, and she has a great reputation on the streets. So I'm happy with it. But it's basically full bolt-on. It's a full bolt-on bike with a tune. It was tuned by Ricky Gatson at Sport Bike Zone when he still owned that shop in New Jersey. It does see some track time. I do have the Brock's strap mounts down there. So it does see some drag strip time. I am absolutely trash on the drag strip. I have a terrible clutch hand. You know, my fastest is like a 9.8 with a trash 1.860. So I'm not. I'm better on the streets. Yeah, just a bolt-on, what I'd like to say, a tastefully modded, you know, like I said, the taillights are blacked out too. I'd like to say, you know, full bolt-on, tastefully modded old girl. It's a 2005, so it's not, she's no beauty queen, but man, does she move. We're looking at potentially getting a new bike, but I'm just so in love with her. And I don't know. I mean, it's been paid off for so long. Even if I got a new bike, she'd stick around. To my wife's bike, a 2008 Gsxr 600. Purchased brand new from the dealership, still extremely low miles. I'm not going to tell you how many miles because I don't feel like you're picking on my wife for how little she rides, but I have definitely put more miles on it over the last couple of years since our son was born than my wife has. But that's okay because she too is paid off. I forgot to tell you the names. So my bike's name, not very creative, that's Susie. This is my wife's bike, Black Beauty. She is also a female. So my wife's bike is more heavily modded from a appearance standpoint and less modded from a performance standpoint. Appearance, man, I don't even know. I should have prepared a list before we started this video. As you can see, all the graphics have redone. They're redone with a pink and carbon fiber theme. So there's carbon fiber underneath every bit of pink. And what I mean by that is if you look close, under the pink and in between the silver, there's carbon fiber. So every graphic has a carbon fiber background before the graphic was laid down, including the Suzuki on the bottom, the rim, the wheel stripes, the GS6r, and the Hollister graphic on the side, which is kind of just was a nickname of my wife's back in the day. No affiliation to the company. This bike graphics were done before I could do graphics. by a company called East Coast Graphics that was local to us where we used to live in the Cherry Hill area. The company actually no longer exists. So this bike has had a rough history. It's been down twice, and only one of them was by my wife, unfortunately. The other was by the owner of that graphics company, who decided that, you know, putting graphics on a bike meant that the bike needed a test ride in the middle of January with snow on the ground. So that didn't end too well. We had to fight to keep that bike from being totaled by the insurance company because that's my wife's baby. She didn't want a new bike. All right, so let's get back to what's done to it. As you can tell, the bike is lowered. It's lowered as far as you can go through the forks or through the triple up front, which I believe is about 2.5 inches, if I remember correctly. It's been done so long, I don't really remember. And then in the back, there's a 4-inch lowering link on it. So the reason it's lowered so much and, you know, not stretched is because it was only lowered because my wife is 4'11". So as you can imagine, at stock height, she couldn't put her feet down on the ground. So it's lowered. It's got the graphics. It has, oh, forgot to mention, this graphic was inspired by her helmet that she had at the time, which was the Icon Rocket's Dead Glare. That's pretty much an exact replica of the Rocket on there. So as you can see, it has the Solo seat cowl. It has some carbon fiber like sticker overlays in a lot of places. Carbon fiber look bar ends, power stands, shorty levers. Pretty much everything that's powder coated on my bike is also powder coated on hers. I do all my own powder coating. She's got the little shift lever protector because, you know, she would wear nice shoes when she went to work. Let's see. I feel like I'm missing a ton of stuff appearance-wise, but you can kind of get the idea from looking it over with me. Yo 5 GT5 GP style slip-on. It is just a slip-on, but we went back later, as you can see by it not being under there, and added a mid-pipe to delete the cat, gain some more clearance underneath. And anyone who has one of these bikes know that these things are quiet as hell, even with aftermarket slip-ons. I think the only aftermarket slip-on that makes a considerable amount of difference from a sound is the Two Brothers. That's really, and then like if you put one of those Jardines, it's basically just a exhaust tip on it, makes it a little louder. But these things are notoriously quiet after adding a slip-on because of that huge cat that was underneath. So when we deleted the cat, this thing sounded, I mean, I gotta be honest, I kind of like the way it sounds a little better than my bike. So maybe a little later in the video, I will do a startup of those two. The RR can't start right now, but her bike also has a dead battery, so that would take me getting out a jumper pack. We'll see about that. So I think that about wraps it up for her bike. 2008 Gsxr 600, whole lot of appearance mods, slip-on, mid-pipe, bone stock performance-wise. Stock filter, stock tune, no power commander. No, it's not a problem. We've checked the air fuel after the mid-pipe. It's still fine. Doesn't delete the O2 sensor. There were some other minor touches done to the bike to keep it clean and all blacked out, like the frame plugs. Stock sprocket replaced with a Vortex steel stock gearing just to, you know, to continue the blackout. So everything on the bike, well, almost everything on the bike, as much as we could do, is either black or silver. Excuse me as I bump into my bike. And that is her bike, Black Beauty. But now, let's move on to the track bike. This is a 2010 CBR600rr, and it was the Layla edition when it started. I'll put a picture of what the Layla edition looks right here. But now, as you can see, it has come a long way from the Layla edition. Little backstory about this bike. In 2013, my wife's good friend Robert went down on his Gsxr 600 on the street and later died due to his injuries. Robert had this bike sitting in his garage in hopes, it was crashed when he bought it. It was wrecked. It was in bad shape. Had this bike sitting in his garage in hopes in joining me in a track day in the next season or two. He was going to rebuild this into his track bike. It sat in his garage for a little bit after he passed, and his fiance didn't want it in the garage anymore. I already had a track bike at the time. I had an 03 Gsxr 750 that was heavily modded. It used to be a Weir race bike. I didn't need a track bike, but I couldn't bear the thought of this track bike going to another home. So I sold my track bike, gave Robert's fiance the money from that track bike, and purchased this track bike off of her, or this 600rr off of her, to continue the build. I got it in pieces. I'm going to try to find some of them pictures and attach them to the video, but I got this bike in pieces, and with some help from some good friends, as you can imagine, Scott helped, and a couple of really good forums, Gsxr.com and 600rr.net, I was able to put this bike back together for almost no cost. I had the fairings donated, I had clip-ons donated, I had a battery donated, I think the chain was donated. There was so many things. The fairings were not only donated, but they were painted red and white. There was so many things changed, or so many things that needed to be purchased or sourced, that even the levers, the clip-ons weren't donated. That's right, Robert had the clip-ons. There were so many pieces missing, though, that came together with help of friends that I didn't really have to come out of pocket for, which was so unexpected and so overwhelmingly awesome. I thought this build was going to probably take me 2 years, because at the time I wasn't in a great place financially, and instead it took a matter of I don't know, weeks, if not just a couple of months maybe. It is filthy now. I am ashamed. I just haven't done a track day in so long. It had some running issues when I put it back together that I didn't know from the street test rides, because it only has running issues at full throttle. So the goal is this year, we're getting this bad girl running again, and we're going to do some track days on her. The last time she did a track day with Team Promotion was on September 22nd. I don't even remember what year, but man, it has to be at least 5 years ago. At least 5 years ago. So performance-wise, absolutely bone stock, other than driven clip-ons that Robert had. Literally everything else, levers, filter, pipe, clutch, rear sets, everything is bone stock. It is a stock CBR600rr, which is a perfectly fine track weapon, which is a perfectly fine track weapon for somebody who does track days as little as I do them, and you know, is I'll say barely at the intermediate pace. So that is the story behind that bike. And I mean, the paint job, his GSXR 600 was red and white. So for the person who donated these fairings, and don't get me wrong, it's a rattle can paint job. It's not perfect, and I don't think he cleared over it, and which is why the bike is kind of in the condition it is right now, because I didn't cover it. But just, there's so much love that went into building this bike. If you get a minute, go on Gsxr.com, look up the Lucky 13 rebuild for Robert thread, and just the emotion and love and support that was poured in to Robert's family, his young sons, and me in able to put this bike back together was just overwhelming. I really fell back in love with the community and back in love with that forum. You know, after this. So that's what the 13 on my bike is about. Not just because he died in January of 2013, but Robert had the Hard Luck 13 Icon entire gear. 13 was his number. He had 13 airbrushed on his wheels, 13 all over his bike, the whole gear line. 13 was his thing. So I do want to mention one thing real quick. He hasn't come up in this video. In 2008, I lost an extremely close friend of mine to a motorcycle accident as well, and he happened to have a 600rr. His was a little older, but he happened to have a 600rr, so as kind of a tribute to him, his sticker is usually on my bike. Unfortunately, with the new fairings, I've redone the sticker, I just haven't gotten around to putting it on. I'm a failure. But as a tribute to Kevin machined these spools himself at his job. They were on his bike when he crashed. We were able to salvage some parts and spread them amongst the friends as kind of to remember him. And I just thought it was fitting to put the spools from Kevin's bike on the rebuild that we did for Robert. So that's the story of the RR. You will see this bike on the track on this channel again. It will happen. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make it happen this season. Well, what I can control, because COVID-19 is kind of stopping me from getting on the track right now. Although it's starting to open up again, I fear that the first track day or two is going to have to be done on Susie. I just don't know if Lucky 13 will be ready again. So that's the three main bikes. 2005 Gsxr 1000 that I ride on the street. The 2008 Gsxr 600 that my wife kind of rides on the street. 2010 CBR600rr Lucky 13 rebuild track bike. Any questions about these bikes? You want to know anything more about what's done to them or how I did it? Because literally everything done to these bikes was done by these hands, including one of the wreck rebuilds of that bike. Any questions you have about the bikes, you want to know how we did anything to them, you want to know more about either of the or any of the bikes, please drop a comment down below. Let me know. If you like these bikes, please give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you don't like these bikes, give the video a thumbs down. Tell me why you don't like them. Maybe you're a Kawasaki fan and Kawasaki is clearly not represented in my driveway. So either way, if you don't give me any feedback, how will I know? There is one bike left to show you. Well, kind of more than that, but there's one bike left to show you. For that, we have to go into the backyard. I'll see you there. Right, so then what I got back here, way back on the back of my property, I got a couple of sheds. There's one over on the other side there. I'll probably show you that in a minute. Is a 1979 Suzuki GS550 that I guess cosmetically was in okay shape when I got it. But it had a few things wrong with it and it doesn't run. It did come with a title, and I got it as a barn find. Let's just say I basically got it for free. There was a couple of bikes in a package that I paid so cheap for that when I sold those bikes, I basically paid nothing to keep this. So first things first, I needed to make sure it ran. Went through the carburetors, got it running, had to actually replace the carburetors. Started to tear it down, and like I said, cosmetically it wasn't too bad, but my end game goal for this is a kind of scrambler slash cafe racer build. So first thing I did was get rid of the side panels, and then started to fab up a little tray to hold the electrical components that would normally be in the side panels, and a battery tray that I don't currently have it with me, but the battery tray is going to go in there. Chopped the tail and started to prepare it for a cafe racer build, and then I got kind of bored with it. So as you can see, like the wires are all labeled, and it's basically ready to start final assembly. But if you'd like more information on this, or if you think I should keep this and maybe do a YouTube build series with it, let me know. Comment down below, what do you think I should do with this GS550? I have so many parts for it, whether it be sport bike parts that I planned on adapting to it, stock parts that came with the purchase. I have probably everything I need other than the seat hoop in the back end. I have a seat for it, but not one that I really like. But anyway, comment down below, let me know what you think I should do. My plan right now was to probably walk away from it. It has a clean title. I can get it running in pretty much no time, so I was thinking about slapping it up on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace as is for a couple $100 and getting rid of it, just because, I don't know, like I said, for some reason I got kind of bored with it, and then the bus project took over my time. But I think this would be awesome when I'm done. So let me know what you think I should do. Should I keep it? Should I planned on like Mad Maxing it. Like, I didn't want to get too deep into it in this video, but I planned on like LED front headlight, header wrap, single exhaust, knobby tires, but yet kind of a cafe tank, cafe seat. Probably put a light bar or some fog lights on it. I was going to have sport bike brake system, probably some newer wheels. Yeah, I was gonna, and I have most of these parts. Man, talking to you guys about it makes me want to get back into it, but let me know, what do you think I should do? Dump it, focus on the other bikes, get my track bike running right and start doing track days again? I could sell this for a track day and a half worth of money. I don't know, let me know.
What's up, everybody? It's your resident Ginger Giraffe checking in, doing a little guest spot on my buddy's channel, giving you guys a little sneak peek of my bike. You've probably already seen it if you've watched the channel. We just went down to the Tail of the Dragon together. You're looking at a 2008 Kawasaki ZX6r. Has about 26,700 miles, give or take. As you can tell, she's still in her trim from the trip with the tail bag. Does provide useful when I ride it to work, just to hold extra stuff. As you guys know who ride sport bikes, there's not a ton of space But other than that, and there's not a ton done. She's been mine for 12 years. Bought her brand new in 2008 off the showroom floor. 0 miles. Pride and joy. She still looks good in her old age. Yoshimura exhaust, slip-on only. Vortex sprockets, down 1 +2. EK chain, Pilot Road 5s. On the back you can see I did a little bit of a custom blinker taillight setup. These bikes don't really have a ton of aftermarket options, and the ones that they do have I don't really like, so I kind of made my own. Still not how I want it finished product, but we'll work towards that eventually. What I did do is buy Rizoma LED blinkers, blue to match the bike, and then that's the factory taillight. And then I just made some brackets and connected it to the Yoshimura slip-on exhaust bracket. So it works pretty good. The blinkers are super bright. Other than that, she's got some stickers on her just over the course of time, just to spruce up the appearance. Gsxr is my name on most forums and some of my social media. Puig double bubble screen and quad lock phone mount I just added before the trip. Charging port on top of the mount so you can charge your phone when it's connected. The gauge cluster I changed. It looks orange in the video, but I changed the LEDs to red, and then the tack is blue. Factory color was amber all around, so at nighttime it actually looks pretty sick. So my sticker to hide my scratch, which if you see closely, I need to find another sticker. That's how I hide my scratches. There's my red chain, little mole bag on the rear pegs just to add on some extra storage. And then actually under here, got another USB charging port. I have a lot of stuff to charge now. I got my Cena, I got my phone, I got my cameras, 2 charging ports on the bike. Definitely not a bad idea. She's been my noble steed for 12 years. Second bike I've ever owned. All the miles on her are from me, and hopefully I can keep it that way. Thanks for checking her out.
Come on, you guys really thought I was gonna leave you without starting the bikes. Listen, I don't know how this is gonna come out without a good microphone coming on a camera phone. They might sound like crap.
What?